Start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 1. The body of modern humans has adaptations that allow us to be more mobile than other large animals. Even though we aren't fast runners compared to horses, lions, and chimpanzees, we can walk for miles without tiring, and we can, with training, become better at running long distances than any other mammal. Some of our muscle fibers are actually built differently than those of the animals we are most closely related to. Our muscles are built for efficiency and endurance rather than speed and strength. We can run marathons in the blazing heat, as long as we keep drinking water. The skeleton found at Lake Turkana suggests that our ancestors that lived 1.5 million years ago already had uniquely human adaptations for endurance. Turkana 150. Their longer legs would have allowed them to stride along faster at a walk than Australopithecines, and the dimensions of the muscles and tendons attached to the leg bones would have given their legs the same spring and strength that makes modern humans such efficient runners. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 2. While we, like our ancestors, do battle in and with the dark hours, we also calculate and recalculate their value, often cutting sleep time in favor of other obligations. And we tend to be surprised when sleep researchers reveal the variety and extent of the lives we are unknowingly living while we sleep. Our ancestors would not have been surprised by this. To them, sleep was an active part of life whose only distinction from waking activity was that it usually took place in darkness. The gods might visit a sleeper with prophetic dreams, or an enemy might take advantage of a hasty slumber, but for early humans the rewards of oblivion were in active relation to everything else worth living for. We are far more likely to see sleep as the necessary evil required for a productive and happy life. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 3. Today's healthcare settings could not operate without computers and computerized equipment. Computers are used for business operations, medical records, and collection of clinical data. Computers may be voice-activated for charting at the bedside, for use with nursing care plans, for communication from the physician's office to nursing stations, for regulating the administration of medications, and for many other facets of operation and patient care. Most of the equipment used in today's modern hospital is computerized. New graduates move into a highly technical world when they seek their first nursing positions. The education they receive to prepare them for these positions also must include the skills necessary to work in this highly computerized environment. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 4. People tend to wear the mask that shows them off in the best possible light: humble, confident, diligent. They say the right things, smile, and seem interested in our ideas. They learn to conceal their insecurities and envy. If we take this appearance for reality, we never really know their true feelings, and on occasion we are blindsided by their sudden resistance, hostility, and manipulative actions. Fortunately, the mask has cracks in it. People continually leak out their true feelings and unconscious desires in the nonverbal cues they cannot completely control: facial expressions, vocal inflections, tension in the body, and nervous gestures. You must master this language by transforming yourself into a superior reader of men and women. Armed with this knowledge, you can take the proper defensive measures. On the other hand, since appearances are what people judge you by, you must learn how to present the best front and play your role to maximum effect. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 5. Absolute poverty, being below a certain threshold of basic needs, has received most attention in the context of developing countries. Absolute poverty is commonly understood to be morally unacceptable and unjust in that it reflects a situation where severe deprivation perseveres in a world otherwise characterized by abundance. It is also possible to demonstrate that absolute poverty is economically inefficient and costly. People who are poor may have economically viable projects and be highly rational decision makers. However, if the resources they command are insufficient to translate these projects into sustainable activities, economic opportunities can be wasted and their resources degraded. An asset-based poverty line is thus conceivable, and attempts to estimate this suggest that such a line is also above most of the international poverty lines. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 6. Global health is a social concept about which there is a great deal of misunderstanding, even among those who are part of it. Global health work, like other productive activities, for example the state, the family, sport, is a social institution completely integrated into and influenced by the structure of all our other social institutions. Those who work on global health view the topic through a lens that has been molded by their social experience. Global health work is a human productive activity that takes time and money, and so is guided by and directed by those forces that have control over money and time. People earn their living by doing global health, and as a consequence the dominant social and economic forces in society determine to a large extent what global health is about and how it is pursued. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 7. Job insecurity is obviously felt in France by workers with fixed-term contracts, whose jobs are by definition precarious. More surprisingly, workers with permanent contracts also feel insecure, even though they benefit from what are in practice the world's most protective labor laws. This observation is not as paradoxical as it seems, insofar as a worker with a permanent contract knows that if he is fired or his firm goes bankrupt and he becomes unemployed, his chances of finding an equivalent job are limited. This leads to a feeling of pessimism that pervades the whole of French society and paralyzes it, handicapping its ability to adapt and innovate. While the French example is extreme, it illustrates the degree to which employment laws may have unintended consequences. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 8. In nature as a whole, orders of growth and decay are inseparably interwoven, as two sides of one overall generative process. For example, with plants such growth and decay give rise to the ground out of which other plants can grow. Indeed, without the death of the individual organism, life would not go on. It is also a rather common feeling that perhaps it is natural for societies to take part in this cycle, so that the ultimate decay of each society is therefore inevitable. In early times, such as the Stone Age, this cycle was, in a certain sense, a viable possibility for humanity as a whole. Decay could take place in some part of the world, while growth and flowering occurred in other parts. Furthermore, the decay of one society could provide a kind of fertile ground for the growth of a new one. Thus it can be plausibly argued that this whole cycle is in some sense conducive to creativity. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Light, 2022, P8 No Exercise 9-10. Humans are natural people watchers, and most of the time we look at faces and eyes. The focus of another person's gaze is a very powerful signal for us to look in the same direction. Magic Johnson was a great basketball player because he used the no-look pass. He could pass the ball to a teammate without taking his eye off his opponent. Magic Johnson. He could control his gaze to hold the other player's attention and not betray with his eyes where he was about to pass. More impressive was his ability to look toward one teammate and then pass to a completely different person. Our difficulty in ignoring the gaze of another person shows what an important component of human social interaction it is. They say that the eyes are a window to the soul. I don't know about souls, but eyes are a pretty good indicator of what someone may be thinking. You can observe this yourself the next time you are standing in line at the supermarket checkout. Just watch the rich exchange of glances between people. It's remarkable that we are often so unaware of how important the language of the eyes is. This is one reason why it is so uncomfortable to have a conversation with someone who is wearing sunglasses. We cannot monitor where they are looking. Police officers wear mirrored sunglasses to intimidate suspects for this very reason. MTC. Good job.